Today I want to talk to you about what is becoming a very trendy item to replace dairy milk, and that is almond milk and coconut milk. And if you are a fan of almond milk and coconut milk, stay tuned because I'm about to blow your mind. I'm Evan Rowell, and this is Critical Thinking. All right, about I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago, my wife and I decided to replace our fruit juices that we would drink during breakfast with something that had less sugar in it. So the natural choice, of course, was to turn to almond milk and coconut milk. And so we did that, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was satisfying, it was refreshing, and we thought we were doing, a really good thing. We were paying about $3 for a half gallon. And so I figured, well, why don't I go ahead and see if I can do a vlog or a video log on freeze drying almond milk and coconut milk, and then seeing how well it freeze dries, how well it reconstitutes, and what kind of packaging you want to use and whatnot. And so I did that. I took 4 cups or half of one of these containers for almond milk and half of one of these containers for coconut milk, and I freeze dried them, and here is what I got out. The almond milk came out with 2/3 cups of solids, or roughly 165 calories worth in the solids. I researched that and I found out how many calories were going to be in almond powder. I did the same thing with the coconut milk, and I got 1/2 cup, or 160 calories. There's 160 calories in that, okay? So anyhow, that was okay, but I did kind of look at that and I'm going to go, wow, that's really brown. Why is that coconut milk brown? As a matter of fact, it was darker than the almond milk. And I'm going, okay, there's something wrong there. All right. What I did was I tasted each one of these, just put a little bit, made it stick to my finger. And I'll tell you what, I was really shocked. Because if I was to take this bag and I was to take it to somebody and not tell them what it was and ask them to taste it, just a little bit on their finger, and ask them how much salt they thought was in there, I'm quite sure that I wouldn't be surprised if they said, well, that tastes like it's about 50% salt. 30% to be sure, but it could be as much as 50% salt, because the reality was both of these were extraordinarily salty. I was aghast. What? That much salt in almond milk and coconut milk? Wow, I started looking into that. Now, the almond milk has 175 milligrams of sodium. And the reason I did the air quotes with sodium is because most people are going to think that well, okay, so there's 175 milligrams of table salt. Something akin to table salt, sea salt. The ingredients list sea salt in both of them, okay? As a matter of fact, it's the 3rd ingredient. But, so you've got salt in there, 175 milligrams of sodium, but what I found out, table salt is not 100% sodium. Table salt is only 40% sodium and 60% chloride, okay? So sodium chloride, table salt. So technically, if they wanted to put more salt in there and then tell you how much sodium is in it, they could put as much as, in this entire container, 3.5 grams of table salt. That's a lot of salt to be put in a half a gallon of liquid. Okay, because only 40% of that is actually sodium. So they're not lying to you. Now, I'm not saying that that's what's going on here. All I'm saying is that my taste bud tells me that there is a whole lot more than just 170 milligrams of salt in a serving of this material. You're going to have to decide for yourself if that's true or not. All I can tell you is that this was extremely salty. Okay? Now, the next thing I want to look at is the advertising that goes on here. On this almond breeze, if you look at this, you're looking at that and you're going, wow, look at there. You got all these big almonds here. They're coming down. There's a flower on that one. And they're splashing into this white liquid that looks like milk. Okay? And so you're going, wow, that milk must be coming out of those almonds here. You make a mental correlation between the two. And then you start believing that why pay $10 a pound for real almonds when you could only pay $3 and you're getting a half gallon of almonds in this container. And then there's this. This is even more startling to me. You got a cracked, really pretty cracked white coconut here, and splashing out of the middle of that coconut is a bunch of what they want you to believe is coconut milk. Okay, what is in this container is what is splashing out of the middle of that coconut. Yeah, right. Okay. If you want to believe that, you go right ahead. But nothing could be further from the truth. So what I did was I thought, well, in order to make a fair comparative analysis between the store-bought brands and what I could make at home, I went down and bought 4 coconuts. Cost me about $10, $2.50 a piece. And I bought a pound of almonds. Okay. And I took the coconuts and a long story short, I made shredded coconut out of it. And I did the same thing with the almonds. I shredded the almonds, I ground them up, and I actually got 7 cups of coconut and I got 6 cups of ground almond. So I took 2 cups of the coconut and blended it with 4 cups of water. I put it in my blender and I turned it on to liquefy, and I let it run for about 2.5 minutes until I was quite certain that it couldn't be blended anymore. Then I strained it through 4 layers of cheesecloth, and then I took the coconut water and I put it in my freeze dryer. And I did the same thing with my almonds. Now with my almonds, I only used 1 cup because almonds will compact a lot more compact than the coconut will. So I used 1 cup of that. But anyhow, after making the 2 drinks, I put them in the freeze dryer and I freeze dried them. And here's what I came out with. This was really revealing. I got 1/4 cup of coconut, and my research indicated that there are 440 calories in this 1/4 cup of coconut. Okay, 444 calories. Here's the difference. This is white, as I would expect it to be. This is brown. This looks more like almonds. In fact, this tastes like coconut. This tastes more like almonds. I don't know why, but this tastes more like almonds than the actual coconut. And this was the silk coconut milk. This is what came out of there. Here's something even a little more startling. This is the almond that I made. Okay, there's a 1 1/4 cups or 20 tablespoons, and there are 30 calories per tablespoons. And I can believe that. 30 calories per tablespoon of almond powder does not seem like a lot to me. Okay. As a matter of fact, I believe it. So there's 600 calories in here in this 1 1/4 cups. And it tastes like almonds. This one tastes like coconut. Almonds, coconut, almonds, coconut. These two taste like some kind of a weird salt mixture. You could barely taste the almonds and the coconuts in either one of those. Okay, so the next question is, in the stuff that came out of the coconut container and the almond container here, how much of that is actually coconut? How much of it is actually almond? Well, the calories are going to tell, okay? As I have stated before, there are 30 calories in 1 tablespoon of this almond powder. Okay? This container says 30 calories per serving. And there's a 1 cup serving in here. Okay? There is 30 calories worth of almond powder right there. It's not very much. I'll try to get that down into an amount. Anyhow, there's 30 calories. It's really thin. There's not very much there. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, that's pretty pathetic. Okay, now if you multiply that times 8, you're going to get maybe that much. Okay, you're going to get that much actual coconut powder in this entire half gallon. So the question is, what's in the rest of it? All right, now doing that same thing with the almond, there is 40 calories, or coconut I should say, there is 40 calories of coconut. So you're going to get that much, that little tiny bit of coconut powder in 1 cup of the silk. Okay, and what that works out to is if I was to multiply that by 8, again, you're going to get maybe that much actual coconut cream, or Coke cream. You're going to get actually that much coconut powder in the whole half gallon of what they call coconut milk. So what's the rest of it? Well, I'll tell you. The third ingredient on both of those is sea salt. Now that's got to be telling you something right there. You see, because in an ingredient list, they list not only do they list the ingredients, but they list them by order of the quantity of material in the list. In other words, the ingredients in this almond milk, it says almond milk, filtered water, and almonds. Okay, then calcium carbonate and sea salt. Okay, so there's a lot of calcium carbonate, which is the salt itself, and there's also sea salt. Okay, now this, granted, this is table salt, but if this is the third ingredient, there cannot be very much more of this than there is of this. Okay, it's really pathetic the way that they do that. All right, they have other things like calcium carbonate is a basic salt, and it tastes salty. Potassium citrate tastes salty. Dipotassium phosphate is a salt, and it functions as an emulsifier, a stabilizer, and a texturizer. Okay, texturizer is important. Why? Because the people that sell this stuff don't want you to pour it out and look at it and go, oh, that's just white water. I'm not going to buy that anymore. It's just white water. Come on, where's the almonds? Where's the coconuts? Where's all the stuff that I bought this to get? So they add texturizers. They add stuff in there that's going to thicken it a little bit. They add stuff in there that's going to make it feel like there's cream in it. When you drink it, it's going to have the same, your mouth is going to have the same response to this that it does to milk. And it is a sham. Okay, that's all I can call it. It's a sham. These two products are shams. These two products don't have any appreciable almond or coconut in them. They're flavors. They're fruit punch, or nut punch if you want to call it that. They're punch. That's all they are. They are stuff designed to make you feel wonderful. And to make you feel like you're doing the healthy thing, when in fact all you're doing is consuming a lot of salt water, and you don't even know it. You've been buffaloed. I was buffaloed. Not anymore, because I did the work myself. I know exactly what's happening. There is how much almond is in 1 cup of almond drink. And I'm not going to insult myself or you by calling it almond milk or almond cream. There is the coconut that is in 1 cup. Okay, right there. That's how much coconut you're actually getting. So with that, I just want you to be informed. I want you to know what you're getting into, what you're doing, what you're actually buying. And fact of the matter is, I think it's a good idea if you want to replace milk or, fruit drinks or stuff like that with almond or coconut flavored water. It's great. You can even add a little xanthan gum to it yourself. I love to put vanilla in, a little bit of vanilla in each one of these. It adds to the sweetness and the flavor. And the natural flavors come through. I don't need to use extracts or other things. The real natural flavor begins to come through. And it is so easy to make. You don't have to shred up your own coconut. You don't have to grind up your own almonds. You can buy almonds that are whole. You can buy shredded coconut that's already, in the package. Put a couple of cups of that in 4 cups of water, blend it, strain it, add a little bit of vanilla to it, and you've got real flavorful, wonderful, satisfying beverage that's not going to cost you an arm and a leg, comparatively speaking. Sure, it costs you $10, but you can probably, I haven't figured it out, but with the $10 worth here, you can probably make 5 gallons, okay? With $10 worth of coconut, again, you could probably make between 8 and 10 gallons or whatever. You have to figure that out yourself. I haven't figured it out. But for $10 for 5 gallons versus $3 for a half a gallon, and that works out to $10 for 5 gallons, 310. That's about $30. You're paying $30, and you're not getting anything but a lot of salt in this one. And this stuff is pure. All you need is a blender and a little bit of elbow grease, and you are achieving what you think you're achieving with this garbage. And it is. I can't call it anything but that. It's tasty, but it's garbage, especially when this is so easy. So with that, I hope you'll like and share. I hope that you will hit the subscribe button. I'm working on a project right now with cheese. One of people that freeze dry, one of the things that they shy away from trying to freeze dry or even show you how to do online, because I will show you about 40 pounds of cheese that I've done over the last 5 weeks, and I've learned a lot. I know how to prepare it. I know how to freeze dry it. I've done everything from whole milk to Parmesan as far as dairy products goes, and cheddar cheeses and brie and you name it, okay? And all that's going to come in a 2-part series. So hit that subscribe button so you'll know when that's happening. And the most important thing, I'm going to show you how to reconstitute freeze-dried cheese so that it is nearly exactly the way it was when it was freeze-dried. I've done a lot, I've discovered a lot, and I hope you'll be here for that series. In the meantime, also, there's my gallery. I am a professional photographer. I know I say this at the end of every video, but I really enjoy when people visit my gallery and comment on my work. It makes my work all worthwhile. I don't make a lot of money off of it, but I do enjoy hearing from people and in my photography. So with that, I hope that I have given you some information to consider, and something that you'll think about, a better way to spend your money with coconut, store-bought coconut and almond milk versus the make-it-yourself stuff. Okay? So with that, I'm Evan Rowell, and this is Critical Thinking.